This time we'll call the regularly scheduled meeting of the Orion Township Zoning Board of Appeals, scheduled for this time and this date, to order. Please call the roll.
Dan Durham.
Here.
Don Walker.
Here.
Tony Cook.
Here.
Diane Williams.
Thank you. Next up, we have the minutes from our last meeting, the 14th of July, 2025. Do any of the board members have any concerns or a motion?
Support.
Motion on the floor with support. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Next, we have tonight's agenda review and approval. We're not too deep. I think we've got 3 cases. Before we open up, do any of the board members have any concerns or questions about tonight's agenda? If not, motion, please.
Move to accept the agenda as presented.
And I will support. Motion on the floor with support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. Here we go. First case, AB 2025-24, Michael Hargraves, vacant parcel north of 3800 Gregory, Sidwell 09-300-1, Petitioner is seeking 3 variances from zoning ordinance 78, zoned SE, Article 27, Section 27.02A4. Number 1, a variance to allow a detached accessory building to extend past the leading edge of a proposed principal structure in the front yard. Article 27, Section 27.02A8, a 200 square foot variance above the allowed maximum floor area of all detached accessory buildings of 1,000 square feet for a detached accessory building to be 1,200 square feet. And number 3 is a 592 square foot variance above the allowed maximum floor area of all accessory buildings of 1,500 square feet to build a 1,200 square foot detached accessory building in addition to an 892 square foot proposed attached garage for a total of 2,092 square feet. Introduce yourself to us, sir, and let us know what you'd like to do.
Good evening, everyone. Michael Hargraves. I'm the property owner / builder. The proposed detached accessory building is for personal use for vehicle shop hobbies and such like that. I'm currently beginning my permit process and estimates for the primary structure, which is to be built first, with the secondary structure being built after framing is completed of the primary and so forth for storage and for supporting the build process.
If I can, with all that open land back there and the ability to drop this thing anywhere you want, the first variance, a variance to allow a detached accessory building to extend past the leading edge of the house, why is that necessary?
Based on the property lines and the clearing and where the easement drive was set up initially, the way the layout for the primary structure is to be put to reduce overall disruption to the land and woods as existing and reduce the concrete and driveway necessary to be able to access both structures by putting it off the garage of the primary structure on the leading edge of the property allows for less disruption to the rest of the land.
Thank you. Board members.
Ms. Hartgrove, you said the way it was initially designed. Has there been a change in that design?
Can you clarify?
You said that the way the road was initially designed or laid out.
So the primary drive-in, which is the 30-foot egress that was deeded before I owned the property, enters the property on the far west side of the edge and then leads towards the east edge of the property. That is how the land has been cleared, the trees, etc., to support that structure, not including the T exit that I would have to put in for emergency vehicles.
Okay, so you're not planning on moving that then, or widen it, or?
That's correct. There's no room to move it. Otherwise, it would require intruding into the existing owner's property that's in front of this parcel.
If you're successful tonight, do you still have time to break ground before winter?
Yeah, the existing goal to break ground for the primary structure is September. So that would be the goal there, and have a framework on the primary completed before snowfall.
And because you know these things and I don't, let me ask you what is probably a silly question. You're gonna need equipment to get in and out of there. You're gonna need probably a tractor and various things. If your secondary building doesn't go up at the same time, your accessory, where are you gonna put them?
The equipment needed for the trades will be stored on the construction matting that'll be put down. There'll be matting installed off of the primary road, Gregory, to not disrupt anything of that for the shared drive of there. And then in the back of the property, there'll be a matting put down for the vehicles to remain stationary on when they're not in use.
It'll be wild back there. You see some things, I imagine.
There's a lot of wildlife. I've seen a lot of tracks already, so.
Thank you. While the board's thinking this over, did anybody come in here tonight just to speak to this project? Now would be time for public comment. Seeing none, thank you. Okay, I can't see you. Why don't you come up and introduce yourself? You'll step aside.
So my name is Brad Lutz. I'm property owner in front of his property to be 3800 Gregory. Just want to say no issues on my end from a structure standpoint. It doesn't impede anything on my property, or obviously not on my property, but no sort of visual concerns of structure standings and whatnot.
Good. That's always good to know. Thank you.
Yep.
Good.
Prepared to make a motion.
Please.
In the matter of ZBA case AB 2025-24, Michael Hargraves, vacant parcel north of 3800 Gregory Road, Sidwell 0930400-018. I move the petitioner's request for 3 variances from the zoning ordinance number 78, zoned southeast, zoned SE, Article 27, Section 27.02A4, a variance, number 1, a variance to allow a detached accessory building to extend past the leading edge of the proposed principal structure in the front yard. Article 27, Section 27.02A8. Number 2, a 200-square-foot variance above the allowed maximum floor area of all detached accessory buildings of 1,000 square feet for a detached accessory building to be 1,200 square feet. Number 3, a 529-square-foot variance above the allowed maximum floor area for all accessory buildings of 1,500 square feet to build a building 1,200 square feet detached accessory building in addition to a 892 square foot proposed attached garage for a total of 2,092 square feet be granted for the application date stamped and received June 25th, 2025, because the petitioner did demonstrate the following standards of variance have been met in this case, and that they set forth facts which show that in this case, the petitioner does show the following practical difficulty. Number 1 is just the sheer narrowness of the lot, if you will, in terms of what the options might be on where he could place the building. The following are exceptional or extraordinary circumstances or conditions applicable to the property involved that do not generally apply to other properties in the same district. Again, there's some, to get to the property, that's one of the practical difficulties. And so to be able to put a road in, you kind of limit it by what the options might be. The variance or variances are necessary for the preservation and enjoyment of a substantial right proposed proposed by other properties in the same zone or vicinity or smaller, in that what the petitioner has come up with is a plan in order to put down matting or construction matting in order to maintain erosion or to reduce that erosion. And in addition to that, he also has support from one of the neighbors. The granting of the variance or modification will not be materially detrimental to the public welfare or materially injurious to the property or improvements in such a zone or district in which the property is located, based upon the following. Again, he has looked at what the options may be and has come up with some good solutions in order to make this challenging property buildable. Again, the variance was not created. Now, there are a couple conditions that need to be included or considered when the applicant is going to get the building permit for this accessory building, in that he has already verbalized, and I just want to re-emphasize that the permit for the primary structure must also be pulled at that time, in addition to the permit for the road that in order to access the property. Those are the two conditions.
Support.
Thank you. We have a motion by Mr. Cook with support by Mrs. Janaskis. Anything else by the board? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Diane Danaskus, yes. Don Walker,
Yes.
Tony Cook,
Yes.
Dan Durham.
Yes. Motion passes. You're on your way. Good luck to you, folks.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Next up, we have AB 2025-25, Premier Drive LLC, 163 Premier Drive, Building A, Sidwell 09-35-476-001, 180 Premier Drive, Building B, Sidwell 09-35-477-004, and 187 Premier Drive, Building C, Sidwell 09-35-476-004. Petitioner is seeking 5 variances from zoning ordinance 78, zoned IP. Article 27, no, 15, 17. Article 17, Section 1804. Well, okay. Number 1, a 1.1 foot front yard setback variance from the required 50 feet for a building A to be 48.9 feet from the front property line. Number 2 is a 0.6 foot front yard setback variance from the required 50 feet for building B to be 49.4 feet from the front property line. Number 3 is a 6.3 foot front yard setback variance from the required 50 feet for building C to be 43.7 feet from the front property line. Article 27, Section 27.04, a variance of 2 loading berths from the required 3 to have a site with 1 loading berth on building A. And the 5th variance is a 10.1 foot 10.1 foot variance from the required 50 feet for a loading berth length to be 39.9 feet on building A. And that's it. Applicant, come on up, introduce yourself, let us know what it is you'd like to do.
My name's Tom Beauchamp, 4865 Broomfield Way. I'm here representing 3 different parties, Glorious Cannabis, Stizzy, and then Premier Drive LLC. The initial site plan was submitted under Premier Drive, and the 2 other entities now own 180 Premier Drive is Glorious Cannabis, and Stizzy owns 163 and 187. The request today is for variance for those front setbacks as have been noted. 2 of them are very minor. The third is about 7 feet into that front road setback. We have looked at, for all 5 variances, to see conditions that are in the area, that if there was a precedent or not. with regard to that, we just, the site was tight. You've got slopes on four sides, having to add detention ponds, retaining walls, the amount of parking required for these buildings to be useful, accessible, and be able to do business is where we had the difficulties in that. And like I say, we got a couple feet encroachment into that front setback.
These buildings are all constructed and up and operating, right?
That is correct.
So basically, this is just housekeeping to get your site plan back in order?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, board members.
The only question that I had is the math on number 2.
Was it misread?
No. You read what's on there. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, they've been in front of the planning commission. This is, as I recall, this is a combination of 3 separate parcels, I believe. It got worked around again and again and again, and sort of this is what they came up with eventually to fit in the footprint that'll make everything work for everybody.
I mean, it's important to the township and all the people that work there that those buildings stay open, stay operating, and continue to do what it is they do. And as the gentleman said, he's not looking for a lot.
What's the total square footage, sir?
Of each building or the encroachment?
A ballpark of the
So
entire.
building 187 is 124,000 square feet. 163 is roughly 88,000 square feet. Building B at 180 Premier Drive is 74,000 square feet. In the encroachment, if you look at a rectangular building, they actually angled the buildings to fit within the setbacks. Whatever happened, happened. So there's only slivers of the building. If there's like 500 lineal feet of frontage, there's like 10, 20 feet that are impacting.
I asked just for the sake of context. For that size building, this size request to clean up the records, I understand.
Question for, I'm sorry, Mr. Nass.
That's right. Please clarify for me, I'm reading 2 as being incorrect in the way it's written too, but please clarify for me.
There should be a decimal in front of the 6.
That's, okay, that's what I
That's
was missing, okay. So we will add that.
Which one?
Number 2.
There's a decimal there, didn't I read it?
No.
No, there is no decimal.
Well, it's on yours, it's not on ours.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, I got you. I'm thinking, wow. What I was gonna ask you guys is, do you remember we had variances up in there on loading berths before? Was it on another building? You know, sir.
On this set of buildings,
I don't know, it was up in that area, right where you are, and we've had variance requests on loading berths before.
there's
They were successful, as I recall, but I just don't remember the particular.
I was gonna say the adjacent properties, I've worked on a couple of them, American Storage and Premier it's now another self-storage, but they did not at the time have loading zones. And the markup, the review where they came into play was more recently, after all the parking and everything was done. And I think Carlisle Wortman during the review caught that, and we were able to fit all 3 parking zones on the 2 other buildings. Building A was the one that we ran into problems with the amount of parking and availability.
Thank you, I probably shouldn't have said anything, it's not germane to why you're here. We just have to look at what is on the paper in front of us. Board members, anything further for this gentleman? Do we have either of the other folks out there that came to speak to this? Thank you.
Chair,
Mr. Walker,
I'd like to make a motion.
please.
In the matter of ZBA case AB 202525 Premier Drive LLC 163 Premier Drive, Building A, Sidwell 0935476-001, 180 Premier Drive, Building B, Sidwell 0935477-004, and 187 Premier Drive, Building C, Sidwell 0935476-004. I move that the petitioner's request for 5 variances from zoning ordinance number 78 zoned IP, Article 27, Section 18041, a 1.1 foot front yard setback variance from the required 50 feet for Building A to be 48.9 feet from the front property line. And 2, a 6-foot front yard setback variance from the required 50 feet for Building B to be 49.4 feet from the property line. And 3, a 6.3-foot front yard setback variance from the required 50 feet for Building C to be 43.75 feet from the property line. At Article 2704, a variance of 2 loading berths from the required 3 to have a site with 1 loading berth at Building A. And 5, a 10.1-foot variance from the required 50-foot for a loading berth length to be 39.9 feet at Building A be granted for the application date stamped received June 27, 2025, because the petitioner did demonstrate that the following standards for variances have been met in this case, and that they set forth facts which show that in this case, the petitioner does show the following practical difficulty. This is due to the unique characteristics of the property and not related to the general conditions of the property in this area. This was, as if my memory serves me correct, a combination of 3 separate parcels, which the petitioner was only one part of a number of other corporations in the same building area. And the following are exceptional or extraordinary circumstances applicable to the property involved that do not apply to the other properties. This is a very unique property, and that there are wetlands and setbacks, and the petitioner was very, worked a lot with the township planner to make this as less invasive as possible. And this variance or variances are necessary for the preservation and enjoyment of substantial property right possessed by others in the same zone. And this variance was not self-created.
I'll support. I'm just, I'm not sure if I heard the 0.6 foot, but maybe I didn't know, but I just want to make sure that that's in there, that for number 2.
Whatever you said, I think I should have said, I said.
Okay, thank you.
I have a motion on the floor by Mr. Walker, supported by Mrs. Danaskis. Anything additional by the board? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Tony Cook,
Yes.
Diane Danaskis, yes. John Walker,
Yes.
Dan Durham.
Yes, you're all set. Good luck.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Have a good night.
Next up, AB 2025-26, Peninsula Development, LLC at 210 West Silverbell Road, Sidwell 09-26-300-012. Petitioner seeking 3 variances from zoning ordinance 78, zoned IP, Article 17, 10, 15, 17, Article 17, Section 1804. Number 1 is an 18-foot side yard setback variance from the required 20 feet for 2 shipping containers to be 2 feet from the side property line on the west. Number 2 is a 12-foot side yard setback variance from the required 20 feet for a fabric canopy to be 8 feet from the side property line to the west. Number 3 is a 6-foot clear space variance from the minimum 15 feet required on the west side for the clear space around the 2 structures, the shipping containers, to be 9 feet. Do we have,
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, before we begin, just in the interest of transparency, my son is in the business of, he provides the service of processing applications for cannabis licenses. And Malash at one point did process license for him. That's passed. It's fee-based, so he has no interest in the business itself, but I just wanted to disclose that. If my colleagues have any concerns, please let me know.
Thank you. Anybody on the board believe that this should be an issue?
No.
No, I think everything's fine, but thank you for bringing it up. Applicant, please. First question, why shipping containers?
So the shipping containers are there because we need storage. Due to the wetlands on the property and all the trees and stuff around, there's not enough space for us to build out the building to have more storage within it. And so we need somewhere to keep various packaging materials, trellis netting, different supplies and stuff that we use. We looked at different areas on the property where we could have set the shipping containers. The only other viable option for the shipping containers would be our driveway leading up to the building, which would then make them visible from the main road. And it also means that every time an employee needs to gather supplies from there, I've got them walking up and down a driveway, which then becomes hazardous.
Thank you. And can you, Bob, you pretty much just said it, I guess. You need storage, you don't have the availability to move the building out?
Correct.
Which was the first thing I thought when I heard it was shipping containers involved. They just wanted to make a bigger building.
Yeah, we have a retention pond on the other side of our parking lot.
Thank you. Board members.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Alicia Williams.
Ms. Williams, on the application itself, at the bottom of it, there's some questions that talk about the total acreage and length of time that the current owner has owned the property. These are all blank, trying to understand that.
I'm not sure. If you want, I can try to answer them to the best of my ability,
What's the total acreage?
you know. I'll pull it real quick and then we can give you guys that.
And then the length of time that the current owner has owned the property?
I was gonna say, I believe it's been a very long time. The Malashes at one point owned that dealership right there, and I believe they've owned this piece of property for almost as long as they owned that.
Just remember, anyway, we'll get the answer to that. So they still own the same property?
The property that we're discussing, yes.
Correct, yes, okay.
Mr. Goodlow, can you look the county overhead and give us an idea about how big the parcel is? You here, I could probably do some. Netting over the top of them is for,
Over the top of the containers, there isn't any netting over them. We store netting in them. So there's no hazardous materials in there, there's no cannabis-related materials, it's just empty packaging and like Mylar bags and stuff like that. Miscellaneous supplies.
12-foot side yard setback variance for a fabric canopy to be 8 feet from the side property line to the west. Fabric canopy?
So that awning is utilized for our secure transport. So in cannabis, anytime product's picked up, there's a pretty lengthy process that goes through where you have to match the manifest from the state mandated system to the product actually in front of you before the transport company will actually load it into the truck and take it. So that canopy is just to provide shelter during the rain, winter, Michigan weather that we experience so that our team can do that. So that we're adhering to the standards. You said you were showing what, 10? Oh, okay. Oh, got you. We also have spoken with our neighbors' waste management, and they didn't have any objection to the location of the containers.
I'm gonna ask you a really odd one, so,
Okay.
do you know the approximate acreage of the wetland itself?
I have no idea, do you? Say, I know it's pretty much all around us. That's what like splits our property from the dealership is really all that wetland and the retention pond right there.
Would you characterize your business as static or growing, or, and I mean growing like getting larger? More people, you know?
So we went through a major growth about a year ago now, year and a half ago, where we expanded our building into the second phase of construction and completed it. We're still growing as far as like employees, but as far as like our building footprint, it's where it is.
What I was curious about was the amount of business you're doing.
That's exponential. It continues to grow and there's very high demand for our product right now.
Thank you.
Hit the center one on the right.
Center one on the right. The one, the blue one? Went wrong before, let's see.
I was looking at property gateway, and you can kind of see this river, the creek runs through the majority of the property. You see that? So, this is where the building is at, right here, and then the creek kind of meanders right around the building, correct?
Correct. Makes it very tricky.
Mr. Walker?
You put the shipping containers there.
Correct.
They weren't there when you started this business.
No, we had them in our parking lot.
You brought those in,
Correct.
and you placed them wherever they are, you placed them there.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Just speaking for myself, I will say if you have to have those, you probably picked the very best place to put them. If I hadn't known to look for them, I might not have seen them, so.
That was our goal.
These motion forms are deceptively complicated, so we're working.
You're okay. I do paperwork all day, I get it.
not even here. I started to. If it's- no.
In the matter of ZBA case AB 2025-26, Peninsula Development LLC, 210 West Silver Bell, Sidwell, 0926300-012, I move the petitioner's request for 3 variances from zoning ordinance number 78 zoned IP. Number 1, an 18-foot side yard setback variance from the required 20 feet for 2 shipping containers to be 2 feet from the side property lot line to the west. Number 2, a 12-foot side yard setback variance from the required 20 feet for a fabric canopy to be 8 feet from the side property line to the west. And number 3, a 6-foot clear space variance from their minimum 15 feet requirement on the west for the clear space around the 2 structures, i.e. shipping containers, to be 9 feet. Be granted for the application date stamp to receive June 27, 2025, because the petitioner did demonstrate the following standards for variances have been met in the case. They set forth facts which show that in this case, the petitioner does show the following practical difficulty in that this unique piece of property, which is 8.73 acres, has a real challenge when it comes to wetlands. And so placement of the containers is somewhat limited, as well as placement of the containers is limited. The following are exceptional or extraordinary circumstances or conditions applicable to the property which do not generally apply to other properties in the same district. Another unique characteristic along with the wetlands is that the property has a river/stream that courses around it on a piece of the property that's been estimated to be more than 50% of the land itself. In addition, the canopy for the fabric canopy that is 8 feet from the side property line is necessary due to, it's comfort actually for the workers in meeting a required state standard for the transport companies when they're there. And so that's a consideration for them. It's, while not a requirement, it is a nice comfort to have due to the weather that we have here in Michigan. The variance or variances are necessary for the preservation and enjoyment of a substantial property right posed by others in the same vicinity, or smaller variance would be sufficient in that, again, we're kind of limited on what can happen on this piece of property. So due to the wetlands themselves and without encroaching on those. The granting of the variance or modification will not be materially detrimental to the public welfare or materially injurious to the property or improvements in such zone or district in which the property is located. To the west is a landfill, to the right is a car dealership that was previously owned by the owner, and so the new owner of that business knew that this was here, and that sale took place several years ago. So the variance was not created because, again, it's surrounded by wetlands, and there are no other conditions.
Excuse me. I'll offer support with the motion given. So we have a motion by Mr. Cook with support by myself. Anything additional by the board? Seeing none, please call the roll.
John Walker,
No.
Tony Cook,
Yes.
Diane Danaskus, yes. Dan Durham.
Yes, request passes, you're good to go.
Thank you.
Stand by, please. Do we have to have a unanimous one because we're on down? It's a majority of the.
You need 3.
Okay, okay.
Good?
Good.
All right, woo, okay.
Just when you thought it was over.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Have a good night, guys.
Okay, that part is over with. Let's see where we are. Public comment, we're just losing our public communication. Anybody have anything? Member comments, anybody have anything? Mr. Walker, any library biz?
It was pretty quiet. Oh, yeah, no, we had none of you were at we had a guest speaker. I'm recommending a book to all of you all. It's called Everything I've Learned About Life, I Learned While Working at a Chinese Restaurant.
Okay.
And it's written by a guy who, you folks aren't old enough and didn't hang around the city of Detroit, but his grandparents owned Chung's Restaurant in Detroit, down in Old Chinatown. And he worked there when he was a kid. He's now a very popular author, wrote this book, and he gave an hour-and-a-half lecture at the library about him and his life story, and it was really entertaining and philosophically nice.
How old's this guy? Doesn't matter, but.
I'm gonna guess in his 40s. Yeah. Unfortunately, he did go to the University of Michigan, so he had that against him, but other than that, he's a pretty good guy.
Thank you. Anything additional by the board? No member comments? Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
With a second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? We're finished.